So I've had several experiences in the last month or so that really have reiterated to me that in talking about health and wellness, we also have to really talk about mental health as well. Yes, what we eat definitely plays into our mental health, but there are definitely times when people are in a place with their mental health to a degree where they need to really focus on the mental health and then worry about the nutrition more later. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about different areas of mental health that might be greatly affected in a way that can hinder us from really doing the things that we need to do so that we can be healthy. And so I just wanted to share a few thoughts about that. When I think about mental health, there's kind of four things that I think are extremely important in our mental health. One is spirituality, and then also relationships, movement, and then creativity. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about each of those four things. So one is spirituality, and when I say that, I don't necessarily mean that you have to be religious. However, I do think that if you are religious, it's really important that you're doing the things that you need to do to stay close to whatever it is that you believe in, and to really be living in a way that is reflective of your beliefs. Because when we are living in a way that doesn't match the things that we believe, then it can cause problems in our mental health, and that in turn can cause problems with us physically as well. So yeah, if you are religious, are you living your religion? Are you doing the things that you're encouraged to do so that you might stay close to God, close to that religion? If you're not religious, do you at least know what you believe in? If you don't, then I would encourage you to figure that out, do some exploring, do some learning and studying, and find out what it is that you believe in, because sometimes just not knowing what we believe in can cause a problem in our mental health that can then affect our physical health. Also, connecting with nature is a really, really good spiritual practice, and this is good for anybody, whether they're religious or not. Connecting with nature in some way, even if that's just sitting outside and enjoying nature, enjoying the things that are there, going on a hike, just anything you can do, standing outside barefoot in the grass, anything you can do to connect with nature in some small way is really beneficial to our spirituality, as well as meditation. Meditation, I think, is really, really important. And that doesn't mean that you have to be able to completely clear your mind. I think a lot of people get this misconception that when you meditate, you have to completely clear your mind and not think about anything. But really what meditation means is just being able to sit in the quiet. And if you really can't handle quiet, I know a lot of people can't, there are a lot of great guided meditations that you can find online, or even just music that is really good for meditation. It's really good to have earbuds in so that it blocks out every other noise and you just have that quiet meditation music or that guided meditation. But really, in meditation, it's an opportunity to sit with your thoughts and just let them come and go and not worry about what might come of them. Just let the thoughts come and go. And quite often as we do that, it gives us an opportunity to connect with our higher self, which is another really important part of spirituality, I think, is connecting with that that part of us that is our true self. Sometimes we get caught up in other things that are going on in our lives. We get caught up in what other people think or what other people say or what society tells us that we should think or feel. And we don't always connect with our own thoughts and our own feelings. And meditation is a really good way to do that. And for me, I personally believe that that inner true self that we have, our authentic self, is our spiritual self. So the more we can connect with our spiritual self, then the better our mental health is, and then the better our physical health is as well. So that's a little bit about spiritual health. The second thing was relationships. Relationships are huge. When we are struggling in a relationship, maybe we've got unkind feelings towards somebody, it can really eat us up. And if we want to feel better, we really have to mend those relationships. And in some cases, that means that we might need to put up firmer boundaries with certain people. And maybe they even need to not be in our lives altogether. And that, I've seen this in a very big way in my own life. It's just without getting into a lot of details, there was someone in my life very close to me that I, for years, just tried to pretend that everything was okay with that person. And in the end, I became very ill, physically ill, because what I was trying to tell myself, the story I was trying to tell myself about this person and the reality was not true. And inside of me, my body knew it. And so I became very ill. And when I was able to get that person out of my life, I suddenly got better, completely better. So that can be a really big deal. Relationships are important. It's important for us to have really good relationships, people around us that build us up and encourage us in the things that we want to do, people that make us feel good about ourselves. So relationships, very, very key. So if you've got a relationship you think might be cause of your mental health or even a physical health problem, I encourage you strongly to look at that and figure out what you need to do about that relationship. So next, movement. Movement is huge for our mental health. It's also huge for our physical health. It really is part of both things, for sure. But as far as it pertains to our mental health, when we exercise, it creates endorphins in our body. Or, that doesn't even have to be rigorous exercise, but just some movement can help produce endorphins in our body that just make us feel better. And in a lot of ways, it can help clear your mind too. It can help put things in perspective if you're going through really hard things. Get out, do some movement, even if it's just going for a walk. If you're not able to do that, seriously, just like moving your arms around, twisting your body back and forth, doing something to bring your heart rate up a little bit can be very beneficial for your mental health as well as the physical health. And lastly, I would like to talk about creativity. I know this sounds really strange. I never actually really heard anybody else talk about it the way that I do. But I really believe that we were made to be creative. And that doesn't mean that you have to be an artist or a musician or a writer or something like that. What it means is that inside of us, we have this desire and this innate need to be creating something, to be building something, or to be moving towards something, some kind of a goal. So when I say creativity, I mean that you should have something in your life that you're working towards, something that you're building, if that makes sense. So for some of us, it might mean that we want to paint. It might mean that we want to learn an instrument. For some people, it might mean that they want to create a beautiful poem. For other people, they might want to write a book or write some poetry. For others, it might mean serving someone and helping someone else's life become better. Maybe that's what really gets you going. But everybody has something that they are really passionate about and that they want to improve and do better on in the world. And a lot of times when we finish one project, there's another one, and we need to always be working on something. And when we're not moving forward and we get stagnant and we just stop progressing in our lives, that can cause huge problems with our mental health. And when that happens, and kind of everything else just goes downhill as well. So I encourage you to really look at your life and determine, is there something in your life that you're working towards that you feel really passionate about, something that you can create and build and make better? And if there's not, and you've really been feeling down, you might want to look at that as being possibly the reason, and really figure out if there's something that you could be doing more in your life, something that you could be building or creating, so that you might feel better emotionally as well. And once you've got that mental health piece in place, if you're really in a bad place there, it will make it so much easier for you then to get nutrition in order and to exercise more and to do those things that are better for physical health as well. Sometimes you really have to focus on the mental health first.